Hi, this is Matthew Robert Payne. This is going to be a teaching on the parable of the alert servant. And we're going to go and share the screen, and we're going to go through it verse by verse. I'll just read this parable. Take heed. I'm hoping won't be more than 30 minutes, this teaching. Take heed. Watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. It is like a man going to a far country, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and to each work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning, lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to all, watch. Okay. So it's 10:31 in Australian time. Let's see if we can be finished by 11 o'clock at night. Take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. Can I share, first of all, there's a revelation I received late 2019, that there's two second comings of the Lord. There's what Malachi 3 talks about, the day of the Lord, and other prophets talk about the day of the Lord, a day of great judgment, a day of sifting. And then there's the second coming of the Lord. They can be 10 or 15 or 20 years apart. One's going to be a real heavy sifting, and one's going to be him taking his bride home. So we're talking about the day of the Lord here. This is where the Lord is going to come in judgment. And that may be scary for some people, but yeah, it is scary, right? Take heed, watch and pray, for you do not know when the time is. It's like a man going to a far country, who left his house and gave authority to his servants, and each to his work, and commanded the doorkeeper to watch. Okay. Now, remember, you may not know this because you may not be a Christian, but if you're a Christian, Jesus told a parable of the talents and a parable of the miners, where a man in charge gave his servants a certain amount of money or resources, and said he was going to a far country, and he was going to come back, and they were to invest the money and do good works with the money. And when he comes back, he was going to balance the books and see what they achieved for him, what sort of profit they made for him. So they were meant to be stewards of his money. Okay. Well, here it said it's like a man going to a far country, which is the same as the parable of the miners and the talents, who left his house and gave authority to his servants. Gave them authority. So what does he mean by that? He means that they're to run the house now. He's gone, and they're to take over and run the house. And to each his work, that's our talents. That's what we're called to do, but we're called to do both our work and the work of the Lord. Each of us have got abilities to work. One as a farmer, one as an accountant, one as a butcher, but we've also got work to do for the Lord. And the work we've got to do for the Lord is to obey the 50 commands of Jesus, and you'll hear that mentioned quite a bit in these parables, and to obey the parables and do what the parable says. So he gave authority to his servants to run the house, and each to do his specific work, which is an understanding of our specific tasks and specific things that we're meant to do for the Lord. And he commanded the doorkeeper to watch. The doorkeeper seems like he's in charge. And a doorkeeper for a brothel or a strip joint or a bar is normally a bouncer, someone in authority, and he's got a lot of authority because he can decide who comes in and who doesn't. So the doorkeeper is like someone in charge. Watch therefore, for you do not know when the master of the house is coming, in the evening, at midnight, at the crowing of the rooster, or in the morning. So at evening is like in daylight saving in Australia, the sun goes down about 8 o'clock. At midnight, it's 12 o'clock. The crowing of the rooster about 4 a.m. as just before the sun comes up, or in the morning, 8 o'clock. Lest coming suddenly he find you sleeping, and what I say to you, I say to all. Now watch. Now, the interesting thing is, folks, that the church is currently sleeping. They're in slumber. Very few Christians are actually doing what Jesus taught them to do. In fact, I'm so focused on what Jesus taught because I've got an understanding of the parables and understanding of the 50 commands of Jesus. I'm so focused on what Jesus taught, I realize that very few Christian churches are even teaching it. And if they're not teaching what Jesus taught us to do as Christians, the people just get lulled to sleep with society and good things and all the good things in life. They just get lulled to sleep by entertainment and buying things and jobs and all sorts of things. So something has to wake us up, and we get the understanding here that you've got to keep watch. Now, there's people who make whole ministries and YouTube channels talking about the rapture, talking about the second coming of the Lord, and every time things get bad, people start saying Jesus is coming back this year, Jesus is coming back in December, Jesus is coming, this judgment's going to happen, this is going to happen, Jesus is coming back, the rapture's here. Well, I can tell you that there's quite a number of things that have to happen in the world before Jesus returns. I've got a book called Optimistic Visions of Revelation, and it goes into the signs of the times, the things that have to happen before Jesus comes back. The two witnesses ministry, the ministry of the 144 people mentioned in Revelation, and the end times church. And there's a lot of things that have got to happen before Jesus returns. So what is this? How does Jesus come by surprise at a time that no one knows? Surely there's signs of his second coming. Surely there's the trumpets blowing, and you'll know that certain trumpets blow, and as each of the trumpets blow, if the things happen, well, you'll know you're counting down the tribulation. One of the major problems is, and you'll find this through my teaching all over the place, one of the main problems with the church, or one of the challenges to the modern church, is most Christians believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. So they believe that people are going to be raptured and taken to heaven before things get really bad. And I'm just simply not a person who believes that. I believe we're going to go through at least half of the tribulation before we're taken in a rapture. But what's coming right now, the thing that's upon us right now, that's coming bearing down on us, is the day of the Lord. And the day of the Lord is going to take the world by surprise, just like coronavirus has taken the world by surprise. In Australia, where I live, we had bushfires for about 6 weeks in the beginning of Australia. bushfires just started, but well, for a number of months actually. We had bushfires burning for quite a while. And then the bushfires went out because of rain, and then coronavirus started. So Australia's really had some judgment, and Jesus is going to come forth with his judgment before the second coming of the Lord. So this coming here is going to take people surprised, because the church is sleeping. The church is asleep. They've got no idea of the times and seasons, and there's so much false teaching around the book of Revelation, and very few Christians actually know how to even obey Jesus. And so it's hoped as you watch these series of videos and you eventually read the book that will come from it, it's hoped that you'll come to understand what Jesus taught, and you'll find truth in what I share. And it's hoped that you'll start to align yourself with what the parables teach. Now, the message here is watch. Watch for what? Watch for the signs of the times. Watch. And not watch for he's the rapture, but be alert and be about your Father's business. Be about the business of the Lord. Don't be slumbering. Don't be sleeping. Don't be going away committing fornication with the world and spiritual adultery with the things of the world and all the lust and the pleasure of the world. Get your focus on God's kingdom and be working towards God's kingdom. And honestly, Jesus told a story mentioned in Matthew 7, after he'd just done the Sermon on the Mount and included a lot of his commands, the 50 commands of Jesus. A lot of them are in the Sermon on the Mount. At the end of the Sermon on the Mount, he said, this is what a foolish man does. He listens to what I say, which he just spent 3 chapters in the book of Matthew talking about what to do. He listens to what I say and he doesn't do it. He's like the fool who built his house upon the sand, and the rains come and the storm come, and the house fell, and mighty was the fall. Well, that storm that's mentioned in Matthew 7, the foolish man who built his house upon the storm, that storm is the day of the Lord. That day of the Lord, this judgment is coming over the next year or two, and it's going to last for a while. This judgment is coming is going to wipe out the houses or the lives of many Christians. And that's simply because Christians haven't built their life on the teachings of Jesus. And it's not necessarily their problem, because they just haven't been taught what Jesus taught. No one in the church seems to be doing what Jesus taught. They just seem to be doing religion, going to church, singing songs, sitting in pews, listening to sermons that aren't relevant, and totally not behaving like Jesus taught. So part of being alert, part of watching, is learning what Jesus taught. And the way that you learn what Jesus taught is look up the 50 commands of Jesus on Google and start to do the 50 commandments of Jesus. And secondly, understand what the parables of Jesus mean and start to do them. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to press like, press like. If you didn't enjoy this video, vote a thumbs down. Feel free to subscribe, and be sure that on the homepage of my YouTube channel, I'm going to have a playlist with all the videos in order. The videos are going to be in alphabetical order, not biblical order, with titles that I got from off a website one day. So this is the parable of the alert servants. God bless you and keep you, and I hope that you can give me feedbacks in comments. God bless.